Hey, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Business. I'm your host, Tiffany Hope. And if you didn't know, every Tuesday we're dropping an episode right here on YouTube. So make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so that you never miss an episode. Now, let's get into Behind the Business. Hey, we are back again. Y'all, y'all, do y'all see the setup? Okay, do y'all see the balloons around? We are celebrating today. And not only are we celebrating today, we are talking about celebrating your wins, not just the big ones, but the small ones. And most importantly, your favorite wins. What are your favorite wins when you think about your business and parenthood and life? That's what we're talking about today. So let's get into it. Firstly, we're going to talk about why celebrating every win matters, and then we're going to break that up into our components of psychology and the brain and how all of our systems work together to make sure that we understand why celebrating is important. It's important, girl, okay? Have you ever been celebrated before? You know how great it feels? It's like if your birthday were every day. That's how you should be celebrating, okay? Every day that you wake up is a new day for celebration. So let's talk about why it's important to celebrate. Oftentimes, we wait for the milestone or the big thing to happen. We wait for the results to finally come in for us to say, yes, let's celebrate this. Let's do something cool. One thing we don't realize is that celebration is actually the beginning and not the ending. So people celebrate at the end of a ceremony or at the end of accomplishing something. But any business owner or entrepreneur will tell you when you get to that next level, there's always something to start working on right away. The chapter just never closes. That's just how that goes. So when we're celebrating getting this new deal, we're not celebrating the deal as I got that deal and now we're going out to pop champagne as an end. What we're really celebrating now is the maintenance of that deal. What do I have to do now? Let me show up now. Getting the opportunity, getting the deal, getting things done, that is the very beginning, right? That's not the end of things. And so I want us to start reframing our minds about how we celebrate and what that looks like in our everyday lives, especially with running our businesses. So the issue mainly is that if we condition our brains to think that we can only celebrate when there is this huge thing that has happened, a huge moment in time that we're like, we're finally did it. If we train our brains to think that that's the only time we celebrate, that's the only time that our brains are going to think that we're worthy of celebration. And the truth is, we're worthy of celebration every day. Every day that we wake up in the morning, we are worthy of celebrating that moment. We are worthy of celebrating the breath that is in our bodies, the ideas that are going to come to us, the things that are going to flow, the creativity, the management, the execution. We are free to celebrate all of those things. So I wanted to keep that in mind as we move forward with today's episode. I wrote down a few points here that are going to just help us remember. Get your pen, get your pad. Now, I'm aging myself with a pen and a pad. I mean, get your phone if you're not on it right now. Swipe up. Back when YouTube first came out, you could not swipe out of the app and still have it in the corner. Now you can. Before, if you were playing music, girl, just cut you off, okay? It's a new day now. Swipe us up in the corner right now, and I'm going to talk right here in the corner while you take your notes. Point 1. Your brain needs to prove that progress is happening. One thing that I've learned about the brain is that it is a muscle, just like any other muscle in the body. When you want to get in shape, you go to the gym. If you want to work on your quads or your triceps or biceps, you use a specific piece of equipment or specific movement in order to work that muscle out. The same thing happens with the brain. You know, on social media, when people call it brain rot, I don't find that funny. I don't think rotting is any part of our experience, nor does it belong to us as entrepreneurs and business owners. And before the girlies get mad and say, I'm going to go brain rot on the beach and I'm going to do all those things, be careful how you're speaking over your life, right? There is no such thing as rot that's happening. There's downtime, there's rest, there's ease, but we're not rotting over here, okay? Our brains are a muscle that we're going to continuously work out. And what that looks like is achieving my goal and then telling my brain, we did that. Achieving my goal and telling my brain, we did that. Have you ever created something like a reel or photo and you look back at it and you say, wow, that was a really great experience. Why do you think we have a higher value for things once they're gone? It's because we're not celebrating them in the moment. It's because we're not stopping to say, this is happening right now. We only look at things in hindsight and think, wow, that was really cool. I went to that concert, or I remember that family member, or I remember that event. It's okay to be in the moments that we remember these things actively right now. With the brain being a muscle, we're going to work it out every day. Every day we open our eyes, we're going to say, I am worthy of great things. Great things are coming to me today. The world is making space for me to take it up in my way. I am a creative and I deserve to be here. Those are the things that we're saying to ourselves as soon as we wake up. And that's like doing a push-up for the brain early in the morning. Imagine hopping up and the first thing you do is get out of bed, pray, and then start busting down some push-ups. Do you know how much more in shape you would be? Just a compounded effort over time. Even if you're doing it in a frivolous manner and you're like, hey, I'm just going to work out real quick. Just saying those things to yourself as soon as you wake up. That's going to help us celebrate simply just being alive. My next point. Gratitude prevents goalposts from constantly moving. Gratitude prevents goalposts from constantly moving. In the words of Candace Dillis Bassett, the goalpost is always moving. The goalpost is always moving. She was saying how when there's a standard for certain people, there's one goalpost, right? And they make it, they make their goal. And then for her and other people like her, it's consistently moving. So that even if she got up to this standard, she still would not achieve the goal because the goalpost would be always moving. You know what stops that goalpost from moving? Gratitude. Let's be thankful for every step that we've made today, every step that we've made in business, every step that we've made in life, because that sends a signal to our brain that we are grateful because something happened. If for every time we reached a new goal and we just went on about it and just didn't stop to say, that was damn cool. Let me celebrate in my way. What I like to do, girl, I likes me a little caviar and a little champagne by the pool, okay? That's how I celebrate, right? Other people might celebrate differently. My mom buys a new outfit as her celebration or hangs out with her friends as a celebration. My cousin buys herself a new pair of shoes. My girlfriend reads a book solo on her patio as her reward because her life is so busy. That's her reward in life. So no matter what your reward looks like, make sure that you're showing your sense of gratitude. That can be through your reward, however you receive it. But celebrate your wins, celebrate your moments, big or small, and make sure that you are celebrating you. Because when you look back and somebody says, what's the most pivotal moment in your journey, in your career? It might not boil down to one moment, but you're going to have a lot of different points in time where you're able to stop and say, I did that. I celebrated that. That was a moment that I achieved whatever goal it was, and I am either writing it down or I'm saying it out loud, or I'm sharing it with a friend, I'm having some ceremony or experience to show that I appreciate myself. I appreciate myself for showing up. I'm showing myself gratitude, and not just my current self, but my future self and my past self who might have struggled to get to this point. Think about all the days that were hard, all the times that it was difficult. You need to celebrate even just getting out of bed in the morning. You know how many people did not wake up today? How many people are battling depression and anxiety and can't start their creative projects and processes? You've been able to start. You've been able to take your moment. So give that to yourself and remember your gratitude every step of the way. My next point, burnout. Okay, so burnout happens faster when nothing feels like it's enough. Burnout happens faster when nothing feels like it's enough. Have you ever put your effort into something and as soon as you get to the point, to the finish line, you start to feel like you value it less than what you valued the entire time? That's because it really is about the journey and less about the outcome. It really is about all the work that you're putting in every day going forward and less about that end point. Burnout can happen very, very easily when you are not stopping to take a moment and say, I did a great job. If you think about a marathon, which I want to say is like 28 and a half miles, right? If you had to just run that tomorrow, I would pass out right now in the chair. I just would pass out right now, right? But if for every mile that I ran, I stopped to say, thank you, body, for getting me here. Thank you, mind, for overcoming these obstacles. Thank you, spirit, for keep going. All these things that I'm thanking myself for and showing gratitude for at each and every mile, I could look up and I could be 26, 28, 30 miles. I could have competed in whatever competition piece by piece by piece. And that is what prevents burnout. That's what allows us to continue to keep going. Because when you get knocked down and you will get knocked down. Ooh, I know I don't want to admit that, but you will. When you get knocked down, you're not starting over. You're starting at your last moment that you gave gratitude. Do you remember playing like a video game and when it would say like game over, you would start at level 1? Imagine working 50 levels and something happens and you have to start at level 1. Beyonce. I'm never doing. You could not encourage me to start again after I've reached 50 levels of something to now be back at level 0 and I have to get to level 1. That is just a plan for failure. That is going to burn you out every time if you're up and then constantly down. What we want to do as entrepreneurs and business owners, step by step, this is the new foundation. This is the new threshold so that we might go up to, but when we fall down, we're back at 1. We're not at 0. Continue to lay that foundation. Continue to prevent burnout by allowing yourself to have a new threshold for what it looks like for you to be successful. And again, this is not my success. This is not your homegirl success. This is not your mom's success. This is not your sister's success. This is yours. What is my baseline? Let's increase that for ourselves so that, maybe that thing didn't go right. Maybe I got knocked down right there. But my new baseline, I'm not starting from nothing. I'm starting from experience. And when you set your intention on that, that allows you to not be burned out, firstly, but also to always have a level that you have maintained and a standard that you have for yourself. Point 4. One of my favorite points. What you celebrate gets repeated. What you celebrate, it gets repeated. Again, like I said earlier, the brain is a muscle. When you go to the gym and you're working out, right? If you do 100 reps your first day, well, that's a hell of a lot of reps for a first day. But if you do 50 reps on your first day, if you keep doing 50, your body's going to be like, okay, we can do this with ease. You know what I mean? We could keep on going and that's nothing. You want to increase it so that now you're growing, right? We're getting into the vibes. We're getting into the motion. With that, the things that you celebrate, those will be repeated in the sense that I already know how to do the 50. I already know how to celebrate the 50. I already know how to be grateful for the 50. What else am I being grateful for? What else can I celebrate? Your brain will start to look for ways that says, okay, we did that. We know we're not starting over from scratch. We're starting from experience. What did I do before that I know how to celebrate? I know how to do my 50 reps. I know how to answer these emails. I know how to organize my schedule. I know how to get on meetings. I'm still celebrating those things. But now my threshold, my foundation, I've intensified that. I've grown now. I know what it feels like to answer these emails multiple days in a row. I know what it feels like to do my meetings on Monday, my content on Wednesdays, and travel on Fridays. I know what it feels like to take care of myself on Tuesdays. Whatever you are consistently feeding to your brain, good or bad, that will be the thing that persists. That will be the thing that grows. And it's an easier way to repeat a pattern. When people are doing things for the first time and then they do it again starting from experience, that pathway into the brain, not to get into the biology of it all, but you have axons and dendrites, and they send neurotransmitters to one another to communicate what's happening. When you have something brand new that's happening for the first time, there's a spark. There's a spark that says, I did that for the first time. Oh my gosh. Some people chase that high of doing things for the first time and do the next thing and the next thing. really that high. It's just a neurotransmitter firing back and forth in the brain. And we have millions and billions and trillions of neurotransmitters just firing off all the time. It's about honing in, taking your moment to say, what is the pathway that I want to recreate each day? And the more that we recreate it, the stronger it gets. Again, going back to the gym. Going to the gym every day, those muscles are getting stronger and stronger. And it's about putting more weight on there for you to feel, okay, I did this one thing and now I'm leveling up. And if all else fails, I know I can lift 100. I know I can lift 200. I know my foundation, right? You're not going to stop lifting for a week and then go in and say, let me start at 0, because we've already learned now how to input our foundations and make sure the foundations are right for you. That brings me to our final point, point number 5. Don't just celebrate your moments as an end, celebrate them as a beginning to who you are becoming. Let me say that again. Don't just celebrate your moments at an end, celebrate them at a beginning and to who you're becoming. The person who you're becoming is way, way, way different than the person that you've ever been before. That person is different. They glow different. They wake up different. They have a sense of gratitude, of love, of care. All these different things that you have put into your future self, that is what you're celebrating. We're no longer celebrating ends. We are celebrating beginnings. In a little bit here, I'm going to tell you a story time about some of my favorite milestones in my business, some of my favorite celebrations, not big or small, but some of my favorites. One of them being the reason we have these balloons behind us today is our subscriber count on YouTube. Firstly, we got to like 90 subscribers and we were elated in the group chat. Oh my goodness, 90 people. And I'm like, 10 more or whatever it was, we're going to get to our 100. We're going to get to our 100. And we did within that same hour of us recognizing it. By the time you all are seeing this episode, I promise you, we will be at 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, right? We went from 100 and set everything up and we had our hundreds and we had our confettis and we had our balloons. By the time we finished setting it up, we were at 500 subscribers. Just feel that win. Take your moment and know that while you are celebrating your win, this is not the end of like, oh, we got 100. That's great. This is the beginning. This is how are we going to reach an even broader audience? What are we going to do with this 100 people? How can we be grateful for this 100? How can we stop and celebrate this moment? And because I do that, that 500 came quick, okay? And like I said, I promise you, by the time you see this, if we have 1,000 subscribers by the time we see this, I will give somebody $1,000, okay? That's how confident I am in knowing that the growth is going to continue to happen because we are disciplined here at the podcast on Behind the Business, because we have an amazing team, because everybody pulls their weight, because everybody stops and says, this is a damn good episode, okay? Not just myself, not just the things that I present. We have a whole team behind the scenes who says, I took away some gems from that. That was a really great point that you made, and I think this could resonate with people. So all in all, as you continue to build your business, as you continue to build yourself, make sure that you stop to celebrate your wins, big and small. Make sure that you continuously work out the most important muscle, which is your brain. And make sure you give yourself gratitude for your past, present, and future self. Because like I always say, we're all in this together. And that includes every version of you. Thanks so much for tuning into another episode of Behind the Business. Again, I'm your host, Tiffany Hope, and I'll be right back for story time. Back again. Y'all know this is my favorite time because I get to just yap and it just comes off the brain and I can share the real life experiences. For this story time, we are going to talk about my top 3 favorite moments, the most pivotal moments that I celebrated. And this is in business and in life. The first one, girl, and this is for the girls, getting over and being delivered from toxic relationships with men. Listen, when I'm trying to focus on my business And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about this man. And I'm thinking about what this man is doing. Do you think I can be focused on KPIs? Do you think I can be focused on my meetings? Oh my gosh, girl, if this is your journey, tap in, tap in, tap in. I had the hardest time overcoming toxic romantic relationships. And not toxic in a disrespectful way, because we don't play that around here, okay? Toxic more so in lack of reciprocity, lack of understanding, lack of feeling cherished. One of my good girlfriends, Natasha Stovall, now Natasha Merriweather, married, okay, 2 kids. Now, my girl Natasha, when she told me, she said, would you rather your ideas be cherished, or would you rather them be respected? And I immediately understood. Would I rather be the type of woman that a man respects and says like, oh yeah, I respect your opinion on that. I got you. I respect your opinion. Or I cherish what you have to say. I have yet, as of this current episode, to find a man who cherishes me. Okay, zoom in on that. Y'all see that? No ring. All right, we're going to get one on there soon. Bride 2027, what's up? So when I learned the difference between being respected and being cherished, I prayed, girl, I prayed down. I bombarded heaven. God, please bring me out of the mania and the obsession of what it looked like to be in those relationships with men. Not even relationships, situationships. Because those men did enough to keep me around, right? But not enough to have me there for life. And that distracted me from the business on a whole different level. When you are giving so much of yourself to your business, and you're also giving a piece of yourself to these relationships that are not serving you, you are doing yourself a disservice. You are doing your team a disservice. You are doing God and your journey a disservice, because this assignment was on your life, right? And getting distracted by the men who want a breadcrumb. Girl, we coming after the loaf. You feel me? We not breadcrumbing no more around here. The day I got in bed and I prayed, tears coming from my eyes, God, please deliver me from this moment that I feel attached to. Next day, up, ready to rock, ready to roll. And I remember calling Dad, I bombarded heaven last night. And Dad was like, oh, you did? Because I was bombarded too. So which one of us got to the front of the line first? You know, we try to figure out what's what. I am so grateful for God delivering me from those toxic relationships that were draining my energy, draining my time, and overall just was not serving the woman who I was becoming, the woman who I need to become to be successful in this business. That was one of my favorite wins. And it was very quiet. And this is the first time I'm even telling this story. The moment that I sat back and I didn't care about what a man thought about me, because I knew my validation came from above. And that was one of the most pivotal moments. Top story for sure in business. I just get emotional thinking about it, which leads me to one of my second favorite moments. I've talked about this before with the Patriots cheerleaders. And when we got our hair flown there same day, and the Patriots had no idea that we had to, finesse and move things around and finagle. All the girls got the hair. All the girls looked fabulous. That was not only a very strong win, is what I'll call it. I remember Adrian and I. Adrian is our director of education. We get in our Uber from the Patriots Stadium and we're just quiet. We're just silent. We usually go out. We usually have a drink or two. We're celebrating. We're doing our thing. The win in that moment, the celebration, was a celebration of silence. Not a celebration of yelling and running around and, oh my gosh, we did it. We were almost stunned at the people that we had become in that moment. And I remember us saying, how are we so calm right now? With the Patriots cheerleaders needing hair in 37 minutes and We don't have the hair. How are we so calm? We did it. We pulled it out and we got back to our hotel. And even to this day, sometimes we're like, how are we able to stay so calm? That calmness, that silence, that was a win for us both. Adrian and I call on that experience all the time. When things get crazy, we're like, hey, it's not the Patriots. Like, if we can handle that, oh, we can handle all these things that's going on. It is not the Patriots. And we use that in real life and beyond, okay? That it's not this, so we can handle it. That was definitely one of the moments that I remember, and especially sharing that moment with our director of education, that made an impact on me. And lastly, our 500 subscribers on this very YouTube. We are filming this in the same month that we launched. By the time you all see this, it will be the second month, right? It will be four weeks and 1 week. We have now more than 500 subscribers, but we're celebrating today the first subscriber and the 100th and the 500th, and in the future, our 1000th. We're not only celebrating the work that we've done to get to where we are today, we're celebrating all of the people who will hear our words, all of the people who understand the production and what it took for us to get here to bring this to you. Everybody who hit that subscribe button is not just a subscriber. You are a person who cares about something that we have created. And today, we celebrate that. Today, we celebrate you. Not only are you promoting and supporting our channel, I would assume that you're here because you're ready to grow. This is not pointless TV. This is not background noise. This is your moment. These are your gems. Whatever you are building, whatever you have in the works, whatever thought you have in your mind, today is your day to start. Because there are 500 people who are subscribed to these words that did not exist before this month. We built this. And the same way we did, we want to see you build. We want to see you in the comments tagging your business. We want to see you letting us know what is the link where I can buy your item or supply your needle, whatever it is that you have going on. Because like I say all the time, we are in this together. I speak on behalf of the Behind the Business team when I say thank you for your commitment. Not to us, not to our subscription, but to yourself. You want to see what happens behind the business because you're building something that is special. You are building something that will be even a speck on the portrait of time. And you deserve to be celebrated. So right now, right here, raise your glasses, raise whatever you drink to you. And to all the people who are committed, who are devoted, and who are disciplined enough to take the step necessary to do what happens behind the business. Thank you all so much for tuning into another episode of Behind the Business. Again, I'm your host, Tiffany Hope. Make sure that you subscribe. We're dropping gems left and right. We got our balloons going. We got an olive tree right here, child. Okay, we got the microphone popping. We are excited today for you. Make sure you share this episode with somebody who you think could use the gems from today. And whatever resonated with you, drop a comment below because we want to yap with you. Duh. We'll see you next time on Behind the Business, dropping every Tuesday on YouTube.